Hello, Galaxy! I'm Chris Pirillo, and I love Star Wars. Hashtag shock. I also love Star Wars books. I have a favorite Star Wars book of all time. I'm going to save that to the end of this particular presentation, because this is really going to be a presentation, if only because many of the books I'm about to showcase are visual in nature, and those are my favorite kinds of books. Hint. I'll go as far as to say that my favorite Star Wars book of all time is going to end up being a surprise for the end of the video. I don't want to ruin the surprise. I'm also going to talk about how I'm going to get one of you a copy of the audiobook for Catalyst, which I listened to in about 5 hours' time. It was a great setup for Rogue One. The books I'm about to show you were sent to me by both DK Publishing as well as Disney, and I dropped one. Oops. Very grateful for that, even though the first one I'm about to show you is one that I had prior. This is a hardcover of Rogue One, the Ultimate Visual Guide, one that I showcased in my Rogue One review, my official 2-hour review, which was longer than the actual movie. I'm going to give my other copy to Jedi. This one I'm going to keep, because I don't like having peanut butter and food stuff in my books. But the reason why I like the Visual Guide series, or the formerly known as Visual Dictionary series, is because it's visual. This is a great supportive volume if you saw Rogue One, or you know someone who saw Rogue One and wants to go a little deeper. I wholeheartedly recommend this. Out of everything that DK published, this is easily number one as far as the Rogue One series is concerned, because, as I pointed out, it's very visual. Easily digestible information, and details about characters, ships, locations, information that I could not even begin to memorize, but I just find all of this information fascinating. I would have loved to have had this type of book when I was growing up, specifically to support the Star Wars movies, because that's really all I knew when I happened to be a kid in the first generation of Star Wars fans. Another book that DK sent along was this. I usually only get the sticker encyclopedias when I find them partially used at thrift stores, so I appreciate having this brand new. Probably will pass this along, or, I guess, use it with Jedi. Can you really use sticker books? I don't know if that's the correct term, but what I really like about this sticker book, beyond any of the sticker books that I might have had growing up, is that even after you've used the stickers here at the back there, you see, you place them in the most appropriate place in the book. So it's kind of fun. You find the location of the sticker and you see the silhouettes there. But even after you've stuck all the stickers, it's still a very valuable guide. Fun for all ages, certainly, and this is one of the reasons why I don't mind picking them up slightly used, even if they don't happen to be used in I guess, the most appropriate fashion. These sticker books also come with bonus stickers, which can be stuck anywhere. These are extra stickers. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stuff. I love the DK sticker guides, specifically the Star Wars stuff and the Lego stuff beyond that, so I'm very grateful to have that as well. Last but not least, from the Rogue One series that DK had sent, this is Secret Mission, Join the Quest to Destroy the Death Star. Again, with DK, just about everything they do is insanely visual. I love this. I love the entire idea that someone can begin to learn step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. These are the different levels. Well, it's not steps, but learning to read, beginning to read alone, and reading alone. So this is a level 4 type of book, Dare to Rebel against the Galactic Empire. You've got to, if you've got someone, okay, I'm going to back up. Take a breath. I'm going to try it again. Packed with facts you need to read. If you have someone in your family, like let's say a daughter named Jedi, who is learning how to read, needs to be encouraged, there is a whole series. Boy, I should just stop while I'm ahead of books, supportive books, to help them learn how to read. I love that. Just imagine, man, if you grew up learning how to read with characters that are just as relevant or will remain relevant throughout your entire life, as opposed to Dr. Seuss stuff, which I don't mind. We have Dr. Seuss stuff. I grew up with Dr. Seuss. I would have much rather have grown up with Star Wars in learning how to read. And I think it's fantastic that DK does this, and other publishers do, including Lucasfilm, or at least the Disney company, the Disney Book Group specifically. But anyway, this is the way that Jedi is going to learn how to read. I'm not going to leap her into level 4 immediately. I am going to let her start with 1, and we'll go from there. Actually, she's starting at level 0. With the board books that we have, the Epic Yarns. You remember those? But we're not going to talk about that right now because I got to move on to the books that Disney sent to me. If you didn't realize that adult coloring books are a thing, they are. This is The Art of Coloring, 100 Images to Inspire Creativity, and I'm going to do my best so that you can see some of the intricate details here in the coloring book. And the idea with these types of books is, to inspire creativity, to have fun, use a set of colored pencils. But to me, this is much in the same vein. I haven't even begun. It's much in the same vein as why I got into building Lego sets. I needed a space to zone out. I needed to not think about anything. I just needed to just be. And so this type of book is absolutely the type of book that you would want to use to kind of get away from it all, right? If you love Star Wars, you may not think, I'm going to color, but you just do it, right? You just do it. And before you know it, you're relaxed. This is very much a great way to kind of zone out, especially if you're feeling stressed, which, let's face it, if you've been watching my social feeds lately, you know I am. So maybe I should begin to color, but then I'm such a completist, I know, you could just do 1 page, Chris, and put it down, and I suppose I can. Ooh, I like that page. Look at that. It's just Star Wars Infinity. That's like my life. Star Wars Infinity. Another one of the books, which you did see in the Rogue One review, which I recorded, is Rebel Dossier. And the reason why I like this book is, number 1, because I would have loved to have had it growing up, but you can get it is set up specifically to get info and intel or showcase on the rebellion's bravest band of spies. And it's written in such a capacity that, it is very visual. Look at that propaganda. I love the propaganda art. It's very apropos. So this is effectively constructed like it was done or sent or constructed by General Aaron Kraken to Mon Mothma, getting details and information about locations and people, weaponry and spacecraft and what have you. So it's a great book. It is, if only because it's a fun way of immersing yourself in the story or the characters around Rogue One. And it was done in a very creative fashion. The Rebel Dossier, very, very much recommended, probably for tweens, I would say. But even as an adult, I enjoyed that as well, or a kidult. But out of all the books that Lucasfilm sent, I think my favorite would be, or I guess the Disney book group sent was this. This was also showcased in my Rogue One review, Star Wars Galactic Maps. If only because it's insanely visual. You can open it up to any page and get little tidbits of information. It's not really for, you can sit there and read it cover to cover. But just opening your eyes and taking in information and pictures, I can't get too close there. But you can see characters and ships and monsters, locations. Each page, or set of pages, is effectively a different location, a different planet. Right there. And little sentences, basically, providing insight. And why I like this book is, number 1, it's just so well done, so well illustrated. It's breathtaking. This is an illustrated atlas of the Star Wars universe. I wouldn't say comprehensive. It'd be really big if it was comprehensive. But I'm reminded of a lot of the books that I had when I was younger that were specifically illustrated campaigns of the American Civil War. And I enjoyed those books because I learned a lot by reading, but I was very drawn into the visuals because I was able to get a better idea about how things moved around, certain positions of troops and or locations or what have you. And this was very reminiscent of that. Extremely reminiscent. So it really brought me back. It drew me back. And so I think this was my favorite of the Disney books that were sent to me specifically in relation to Rogue One. See right there. This is new. This had not, to my knowledge, this has not yet been produced before. I expect to see updated versions of that in the future. So now that I've gone through the books that I have in relation to Rogue One, my Rogue One books, and a Rogue One bookmark that I got at 75% off, because it has Darth Vader on it and a Darth Vader pin. Nice. See, because originally this was $4, but I only got it for $1, which is great. So that's how I'm going to keep my place in these books. I need more bookmarks, I guess. My favorite Star Wars book growing up was the Return of the Jedi comic adaptation. because I couldn't watch the movies over and over and over again. It wasn't possible to do at my age. And when certainly when Return of the Jedi had been released, and I read that book, the comic over and over again. I didn't get the Star Wars comics. I didn't have an opportunity to get them. I couldn't easily get them when I was younger. So that was my favorite. That's how I remember. I've probably read that book, that comic book, and that counts as a book, more times than I've seen the movie Return of the Jedi. No joke. That's no joke at all. But I'm asking you a very simple question. What was your favorite Star Wars book of all time, whether we're talking Legends or Expanded Universe or what is now known as canon? What was your favorite Star Wars book? One of you, the one person, I'm just going to pick you at random, one of you who tells me what your favorite Star Wars book is, there is no right or wrong answer, I'm going to find a way to get you a free Audible copy of Catalyst to listen to. So if you have not yet read or listened to Catalyst, my recommendation is listening, not just because Audible sponsored that particular engagement, but specifically because I got through it in about 5 hours. Catalyst, instead of reading it, and it would have taken me longer than 5 hours. It's the way that I prefer to take in novelizations or novels. I would rather listen to them. But, of course, when it comes to like more visual books, yeah, you kind of need to hold on to the book outright. And when it comes to like learning or zoning out, that's where these types of books happen to be, very valuable in a printed fashion. But that I know of, these probably would not work very well in Audible type of capacity. Not to be confused with Audible the brand, but I mean in terms of audioly listening to wise. Did you catch that? One of you, if you tell me your favorite Star Wars book of all time, I will see about getting you a copy of Catalyst to listen to, courtesy of audible.com/Pirillo. I appreciated that as far as an engagement was concerned. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you found any other Rogue One books that weren't showcased here that I might have missed, that I might be interested in, because it is possible. Sometimes I don't find out until I see a Star Wars book in the store. I'm like, oh, hey, wow, that's a thing. So thank you for keeping me posted. I appreciate that you allowed me to keep you posted. And at this point, I guess I'm going to leave you to your own devices, and may the Force be with you.